Objective for today, I can represent data on dot plots and identify the effects of outliers. Let's read it together. 1, 2, 3. I can represent data on dot plots and identify the effects of outliers. So, this is a continuation of yesterday's lesson. The only thing, the way the book presented it, it was too many concepts in one, and I wanted to make sure that we actually got well with one concept, moved on to the next before we actually did all of those. So today, we're not going to focus as much on standard deviation. We're going to focus on dot plots and outliers. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to focus on straight outliers, like those of you that copy your home plate from someone else and turn it in as your own. I'm not talking about those straight outliers. I'm talking about, I wasn't looking at you. I was just turning like this. I said some people. However, today we're focusing on outliers in regards to numbers of data. Okay? So, we know what dot plots are. We covered that yesterday, right, with our Fourier model. And we said that dot plots only use a number line, show frequencies, and use x's, dots, and symbols. Okay? Copy these steps down, please. It's only 5 steps. It says identify the mean, median, mode, and range. We're going to still work on that. We're going to work on graph data on a dot plot. We're going to identify the outliers, identify Q1, Q3, and the IQR. And at the end, we're going to summarize, which means analyze and compare data. We've been doing that, so hopefully we can continue. Copy that. I'll give you guys, it's on your screen. I'll give you guys 1 minute. Go. Copy that. An outlier is a value in a data set that is much greater or much less than most of the other values. You don't have to copy this. What you do need to copy is this information inside the box. It says a data value x is an outlier if x is less than Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR, or if x is greater than Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR. Copy that, please. I'll give you guys 30 seconds. Only what's inside the box. Go. All right. So just to give you an example as what an outlier is, I'm going to write it right underneath here. You can copy that. Example. So I'm going to write, for example, if we were to have a party, when? Tomorrow? Okay, tomorrow. Thank you, Julian. So if we were to have a party tomorrow, and then all of a sudden I got those back, and here are the scores: 70, 85, write this down, 60, 90, 85, 75, 65, and then somebody scored a 10, 70, be nice, 80, and I'll stop right there. So, according to the definition of an outlier, it says a data or a set of data which is greater, much greater, and much less than most of the values. So which one of these is much greater or much less? The 10. So then the outlier here would be 10. Okay? Another example. If I was to write down, and I will take a poll as to how much money does each one of you have. So here it goes. $1, $5, $10, $5, $2, $3, 20 bucks, 25 cents, $2, $3, and then all of a sudden somebody said 310. So, by looking at that information, which would be our outlier? 300 would be our outlier, or the person would be a straight out liar, right? So does everyone understand an outlier? It can either be the smallest value that's not part of the entire group, or the greatest value, which is not part of the entire group. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's as simply as I can present it. So here we go. So what we're going to do next, we're going to actually do a problem together. Since we already know all the different components, we've been doing this from last week. We know how to compute the mean, median, mode, and all standard deviation, and all the little components. The only thing I need to address today is the the Q1, Q2, Q3, and the IQR. Okay? So with that said, example 1B, copy this please on your paper. Only copy what I underline. Suppose the list of salaries is, and then underneath that I want you to write this sequence of numbers: 25, 30, 35, 35, 35, 40, 40, 40, 45, 45, 50, 60, and 150. Copy that please on your paper. Alright, so basically what we're going to do, we're going to go over all these components, and let me first get this part. I'm going to move it up. I'm going to get the formula out of the way and the information, since we already have it. You already have it on your paper, right? Okay, so we're going to do part A and part B together. So I'm going to push this screen to your iPad, so like that you can write in here. But before you do anything, I need to show you something really quick. So let me pause this really quick. So now that you have this on your screen, we're going to do this one together. So here we go. Oh, sorry. Here it goes. So they talked about this problem was about salaries. Now, does that mean that it's $20? No, they're talking about thousands of dollars. So they're talking about 20,000, 25,000, and so on and so forth. So watch. Here, this one's already labeled 20, and each one of these is an increment of 5s. So we go 20, 25, 30, 35. I want you to label 40. So we're going to go by increments of 20. So then it's 45, 50, 55, and then the next one we're going to label is 60. So the next one would be 80, 100, 120, and 140. Label that, please. I said by increments of 20, right? And each tally is worth 5, so that you know where you're at. So it's 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, and so on and so forth. So can you read me the data that they gave us, please, Oliver, from the problem?
Yes. 25, 30.
Hold on. 25.
Yes.
Go.
30.
35. 35. 35. 40. 40. 40. 45. 45. 50. 60. And 150. Alright, so with this information, we're going to create our dot plot. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to tap on the pen icon again and increase the font to the thickest font.
Oh my God.
Alright, and then tap again on the pen. So this is why I want you to use the thickest font, because as soon as you tap on the screen, it's going to create a dot. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or a point. So check this out. So we're going to fill our dot plot. So the first number is 25. So 25 would be next to the 20, so you put a dot right there. Did that work? Okay. So I want you to fill your dot plot. The next one would be what? 30. 30 is about right there. There's 3 35s. 1, 2, 3. 35 is right here. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 40s. So then we do 1, 2, 3. The next one is 2 45s. 45 is right here. 1, 2. There's 150, 160, 150, 160, and one 150, which is way over here. So just by looking at it, you can actually see which one would be the outlier. Is that correct? Okay. So this next piece we're going to do together once again, because we want to find out to see if 150 is an outlier. It says here, watch. If the owner's salary is an outlier, the owner's salary is 150,000. So they give us the formula. They give us the formula 150 greater than Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR. So here we go. First, we need to label our data with the quartile. So here we go. First thing I want you to find out of all that data, find me the median, please. Find the median on your paper. Find the median, identify it, put a box around it, and then underneath that I want you to label it Q2, the median. On your paper, identify the median. And I said box it and label it Q2. Turn to your neighbor, see if they have something similar to yours. Okay, so I heard the majority say 40. So yes, it's this 40 right here, and underneath I'm going to label that Q2. Label that. That's quartile 2. I'm going to zoom. I'm going to move a little bit down so you can see it right there. Okay, here we go. Next. Once we find the median, it divides our data into two sections. It divides us into a lower section, which is this one in red, and an upper section, which is this one in green. So check this out. To find the Q1, which is the one on the left side, I want you to find me the median of this data right here. So let's do that all together. So what is the median of the lower part of the data? So there's 6 data set numbers, and when there's an even number, we need to add these 2. That's 70 divided by 2. That gives us what? 35, and that's our Q1. That's how we find our quartiles. So this next one, I don't want you to say out loud. I want you to keep it to yourself. Before we do that, go to your iPad, and I want you to write in there for Q1 35. There it is. Okay? Sure. So, now, from this point forward, I'm going to have you follow along since you already know what we're doing. So check this out. For the upper half, I want you to find me the median, and that one we're going to label Q3. Don't say it out loud. Keep that information for yourself, and see if we get the same answer at the end. So label that Q3. Once you find it, I want you to write on your iPad where it says Q3. Write that information right there. Okay? Because right now when you send me your slide to see if you get the same, you're not going to send it right now, I'm saying at the end. So now that you found Q3, did everybody find Q3? All right, so now that we have that, look up please. The next information is IQR. That means interquartile range. But the key word here is what word? Range. Think, how do we find the range of a data set? We take the highest number and the lowest number and subtract. Is that correct? But since nobody knows what you got for Q3, that's why I'm going to write here Q3 minus Q1, and that should give us the inner quartile range. Do that, please. Find me the inner quartile range and write it right here. Okay? Now for this next piece, we are going to require the calculator, but I want you to look up really quick, pens down, hands down. Look up to the screen. Now, we're trying to determine if the owner's salary, which is 150, is an outlier. So we're going to use this formula. Look up this one. 150 is greater than Q3 plus plus 1.5 times the IQR. So what they're saying is that if 150 is greater than what we get here in this box, then this one is yes. But if 150 is not greater, then this one is no. Does everyone understand? So, on your calculator, I want you to press C so you can clear everything, and I'm gonna zoom in so I can show you what to type in there. So that everybody's following along. Here you go. So for some of you, it's going to be different if you got the wrong Q3. Is that correct? So check this out. On your calculator, I want you to type in first. You press C to clear, and then I want you to type in the Q3, whatever that value was on yours. Q3. You have it written on your iPad. From there, I want you to press the plus button. Press to open up parentheses and type in there 1.5, close parentheses, press multiplication symbol or times, and then I want you to type in there the IQR, whatever your IQR was. Look at your iPad, what was your IQR, and type it right here, and then press equal. Don't say it out loud, keep that to yourself. And then answer the question, is 150 an outlier? See what you get, and I want you to send me that information as soon as you have it. I'm going to pause this really quick. Correct answer. Q3 was 47.5, Q1 was 35. When you subtract those, you get the IQR of 12.5. And then once you type in the Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR, that gives us 66.25. Was 150 greater than that? Yes, so this was an outlier. We got it? Okay? So, I'm going to give you another one so you can do by yourself this one we did together and see how you do. Okay. Let me pause this really quick. Okay, I already sent this problem to you really quick. It says, and write that example 1B on your paper. So on your paper, what I want you to write is all the data in order from least to greatest, so like that you can get all that information that we need for this problem. Now this is two separate problems. Look at the problem number 1. It says, the list gives the grade level for each member of the marching band. I was going to say mariachi band. Marching band of JFK High. And it gives you 9, 10, 9, 12, and it gives you a set of data. So for that one, for number 1, you just need to give me a dot plot. That's simple. For part number 2, this is it's not a part number 2, this is a second problem. It says, show that the data set 7, 10, 54, 9, 12, 8, and 5 has an outlier. Do you know how to find that? From there, make sure you determine the Q3, the Q1, and the IQR, and give me the outlier for that data. Don't worry about the effect of the outlier. We'll get to that in a little bit. Ready? Go. As soon as you have that information, send me the information, and remember to lock your send bar at the bottom before it goes away. I'll give you guys, 3 minutes? Okay, 5 minutes. Go. Okay, so correct answer, here goes. On your number 1 problem, you should have labeled it 9, 10, 11, and 12, and look at the dot plot, there it is. For number 2, the Q3 was 12, Q1 was 7, IQR was 5, and you should have written 54 was the outlier, or outlier yes, and circle the 54 just, like they did on your screen. Yes? Alright. So I'm going to stop right there, and then I'm going to move on to the next slide. So pay attention, please. Here it goes. All right. Where I wanted to get to is this slide right here. So once you set up your dot plots, there's going to be 3 different types of dot plots. They can either be symmetrical, they can be left skewed, or right skewed. Now, check this out. Some of us get confused with left and right, but this is a way to remember left and right. Here we go. Symmetrical, it looks like a pyramid or a perfect bell curve like this, right? However, left skewed is when it has a big gap of data on the left side. That's how you can remember left skewed. Skewed to the right, it has a big gap of data on the right side. Because sometimes we might think, well, if it's going to the right side, then this one is the right skewed. No. Skewed means that it's missing data on that area. Everybody with me? So we have either symmetric, left skewed, or right skewed. Now, let's go to where I wanted to get to, is go to a table as to how does the outlier affect the rest of the data. So let me go to that table really quick. So from the first data that we did for problem number 1A, problem 1A, we're going to fill out this table right here, and we're going to find all this information, okay? But we want to find out what's the difference by having included the outlier, like here, the set with 150, or set without 150. So for example, let me forward this slide. Hold on. Let me go back. Hold on. For example, 1A, what was our median? Everyone. 40. So that one goes right here on the bottom. Set with 150. It's 40. What was our IQR? You have it on your paper. What is it? 12.5. Okay. What is the range of that data? What was the greatest and the least? 25 and 150, so that one is 125. So now you need to find the mean. So add all those numbers. You have a calculator. So fill in this table. So check this out. Leave the standard deviation till the end. I want you to fill first this information with the 150, and then do it again now without the 150, and see how it affects the rest of the data. Okay? I'm going to pause this for a little bit so it can give you time to do that. Do this really quick. Alright guys, so you're finishing that information. Home plate for tonight. Found on page 445. Close your screens. Have a good one. See you guys tomorrow.